What is up, guys? Hello. We're going to do another draft. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to pick Monk. Monk's just really fun to me. I don't like red, and yellow purple's a nice second choice, but I really like Monk. Let's go Monk. Okay, here I'm going to pick East March Crusader no matter what. Guy's just really solid. He's a 4-2 for 3, but also almost always will draw you a card, which cycles really nice in this game, in Arena especially. Ordinary Patriot, just you need an action to make him good, and he's just a 1-drop, and Arena 1-drops aren't really that great. In some cases they can be, but most of the time 1-drops you typically want to stay away from. You typically want your mid-game to be really strong. Curse, give a creature -1, -1. Like I said, you don't really want these like 0-cost spells in Arena almost ever, really. Yeah, so East March is an easy pick there. Here, Packwolf is a solid card. Bruiser's a pretty freaking weak card. I typically don't like Bruiser, but it might be because I'm just not an aggro drafter at almost ever. I never just like think in my head like I'm gonna go face this arena and I'm just gonna completely go face cards. But that does work out for people, so I'm not gonna like bash that. But I'm just saying, in my personal preference, I don't really like this card. Highwayman, I really like draw, so I'm probably gonna pick him. Here, Ransack. Alright, a lot of people hate on Ransack, but I actually don't think it's too bad of a card in Arena because in most cases, like I said, there's people who'll draft cards that just go straight up face. A lot of cards have 3 or less HP. There's a lot of times where it'll pop off your Prophecy. You can kill a card for free and heal for 3. It's actually a pretty solid heal and pretty solid damage, as long as you get off Prophecy. Obviously, if you don't get off Prophecy, then yeah, it's weak. But there's a lot of chances you'll get it off Prophecy if you draft it rather than drawing it. Like, it's about equal in chances because it's technically drawing it Alpha Rune. So, accelerated drawing in a sense as well to get a higher chance of possibly getting this off Prophecy. So I do think it's an okay card. You know why I like East March Crusader, but Hive Defender is just so good. He's a 3/6 guard for 4. He's just a really solid card. I'm probably going to go Hive Defender. Here, I guess all the cards are pretty bad. I've talked about this guy before. I don't have any green, so it's not reliable to go this guy yet. And Highwayman, he does draw cards, but I don't want too much card draw, because the card draw is good in Arena, but like when you get to the point where you're going to be full on hand and you're just dropping more and more card draw, it really loses its value quickly. But I think I go him anyways. I'm going to go Kharas Reaper. Kharas Reaper is just such a strong 7-drop in Arena. Here it's between Daring Cutpurse and Bristleback. I think I end up going Bristleback, so I want to go ahead and get some of that late game going, because I have so much card draw that I feel like I'm going to, and this is why I want to pick Bristleback over Cutpurse, because usually Cutpurse is a solid pick. But because I have so much card draw already in this deck, like, this is extremely a lot of card draw for an Arena deck, okay? Because I have so much, I'm going to go ahead and go Bristleback, because I feel like I can always play on curve anyways with all this card draw, and I feel like I don't need to be scared of having too much late game as long as I can round out my draft later on. Let's hope I pick Bristleback at least. Here, it's a hard pick. Reaper, as I've said, he's completely insane in Arena, but Piercing Javelin's also really good in Arena. So I think I end up going Piercing Javelin. Just because, of course, Reaper you have to draw him, whereas Piercing Javelin you get him off of Prophecy and he does something immediately. Here, Highland Lurcher easily. I want a 6-drop, want a big baddie. I could maybe go Shaman, but Shaman just feels so weak to me. He's essentially a 3/3 for 2 in most cases, but he dies to a lot of things. It's kind of like, he usually trades 1 for 1. Here, Paladin, most likely I want to just get that 4/4 for 4, maybe some Drain, maybe some synergy with Piercing Javelin. Scouting Patrol, he's actually a really strong card. He's a 2/2 for 1, but I just kind of want the Paladin here. Guardian, once again, I just don't really like 1-drops. Scouting Patrol is one of those better 1-drops, because at least you can drop 2 of them, but it's still not really amazing. Here, it was between Imprison and Spriggan. I think I want to go Spriggan because I do want some heal in this deck, since I'm looking like I'm going pretty late game. And in Imprison, it doesn't look like my deck's going to really just straight up smash you and go face. If it could, then Imprison would be good, just like shackle up one of their creatures that's about to kill one of mine and just start face racing. But overall, I think Spriggan's the best pick here, for that reason. Here, already so I don't like Curse. Goblin Skulk, he doesn't really do much, he's a 2/2 for 2. Aerostorm's just a better pick. There's a lot of chances Aerostorm will be useful eventually, and I have enough card draw to where I can eventually use it for value. Priest of the Moon is an easy pick here. An 0-3 shield for 0 just really doesn't do much at all. Yeah, like, oh, I know you can think like, oh, it'll let you trade up and keep a minion alive, but the thing is, you just use 2 cards to kill 1 card, and that 1 card that gave it plus 3 HP probably isn't going to allow you to trade again. So, like, essentially, you're always going to trade 2 for 2 if you put this on another minion, so it's really not a good card, in most cases. Sunhold Medic is basically just a better version of Maple Shield in Arena, but still don't like her. Priest of 9 Moons, at least you can get him off Prophecy, and he's a little bit of a heal, and he's a 2/2 for 2, so he's a nice card. Here, I could have went Healing Potion just for more heal, but I don't have enough late game threats in this draft to really justify that. So far, it's looking very mid-range. My curve, obviously, judging by this, because of, you know, it's just boom, 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 and then drops off again. So it's not very aggro. I'm not going to be trying to out tempo my enemy, and I'm also not going to be trying to outvalue my, or not trying to just late game my enemy and just dump big after big. So it's better to go for this mid game and try to solidify that. So I'm going to go Dre here. It's just a more solid pick. If I was an aggro deck, I probably would go Footpad. But if I already had tons of late game threats, I'd probably go Healing Pot. Here, Legionnaire is just an easy pick. He's a 3/4 for 3. He's just a really solid card. Here, I can go Soldier or Crushing Blow. That's a very hard choice. Crushing Blow is essentially a 3 charge for 3, which is just a really solid pick overall. Kvatch Soldier, though, he's obviously a pretty solid pick as well. He's a 2/3 for 2, but he has Guard, which means he can force some decent trades for you and stop you from getting hit in the face. Here, I really don't like any of these cards very much. Courier is probably going to be the one I pick just for more cycle, and she's a Guard. Here, this is a pretty hard pick between these two. I don't really have enough synergy to justify this guy, so I'm probably going to go Bristleback again. That's what I'm assuming. There could be some synergy between Calm and Aerostorm, but that's too unreliable, even with this much card draw. Here I'm going to go Thieves Guild Recruit, just the cycle's really nice. Thievery I don't like at all, Dora and Bleasta I don't really like at all as well. This is one of the worst picks I've ever gotten, by the way, in Arena. This is just wow. Well, she's completely unplayable in Arena, pretty much always, unless you get some crazy synergy with her. She's also almost completely unplayable in Arena unless you get some crazy synergy with her, and she's almost completely unplayable in Arena unless you get some crazy synergy with her. Fortunately, though, the best pick here probably, I assume, like, alright, gaining 2 Magicka, charge, 1/4. Maybe she could ping someone off, but it just doesn't really feel good at all. Gaining 2 Magicka, it's not going to really let me do anything. Like, playing her alongside a Kvatch Soldier doesn't really do anything at all. The Cameron Scout Leader, I don't really have consistent ways to injure 2 guys in both lanes, otherwise she'd actually be playable, but yeah. The Swiftclaw, at least I can hit them twice in the face, draw them, like, this essentially says 4/2/2, draw them possibly 2 cards, and become a 4/4, which you should have played in the first place for 4 Magicka. That's essentially what it says in Arena, so it's a very bad card. But I'm going to go this card just because at least it does something. Maybe it could be a threat. Maybe I can get really lucky when I shouldn't, and maybe it'll be a good card. But none of these picks felt good at all. Sometimes you just get these picks in Arena, though. Got to make the most of them. Here, definitely not going to go Dark Harvester. Scouting Patrol. But, alright, the thing about Dark Harvester, he's a huge punishment if you draw him without drawing him off Prophecy. But if you get him off Prophecy, he's actually a solid card. Like 2/4 guard and gain 4 health, that's actually really strong if you can play him for free. But if you can't, obviously he's absolutely garbage. Scouting Patrol, I already said why I like that, but I like Thieves Guild Recruit just because he's a 1/2, so you're paying 1 extra for 1 extra health only. But you're gaining the fact that he cycles, which is really strong in Arena once again. Here, this is actually a decently hard pick between Miraak and Ungolem. I do have the kind of deck that can stall out for Miraak. The issue is that Ungolem in this deck will allow me to overall value trade better and allow me to play the assassins, get more cycle going, just everything, and I can consistently draw them in this deck, so that's why I went with Ungolem. But it was a hard decision. Miraak's a very strong card. But in this draft, in this situation, Ungolem's just a stronger pick. It's going to take me a little bit to figure it out. Okay. Here it was between Snaketooth Necklace and Cliff Racer. It was essentially, did I feel like I needed to go for more of the value, or do I need to go for more stall into my late game threats? Once again, I don't really have late game threats. Like, I would consider 5 drops in Arena even late game threats, like Bristlebacks, Lurchers, and Reapers. That's my late game threats. So I would say, and technically Javelin, sort of, but I don't know if you count that as a threat, more so because it's just a reactive spell. Bristleback, you know, he's not big enough to win a game on his own, really. Lurcher, sometimes he can win a game on his own. Reaper, he is a decent threat. But the thing is that he's more so for reacting to the enemy's board. So I really don't have huge win conditions with this that I can stall out to obtain through this deck. I'm more so just wanting to stay ahead on board and push my small guys into their face eventually. So I'm going to go Cliff Racer here for that reason in this current draft. And like I said, these are things I just can't teach in my guide. Like, whenever you're drafting, you just have to look at your deck at all times in your draft and really think what card fits the puzzle the best. They'll never fit perfectly, but there's cards that'll just fit the best. Here, I already said I don't like Crook. Helgen Squad Leader is a solid 2-drop. In most cases, because I'm flooding the board pretty hard with this deck, I'm going to be able to get him to at least be a 3-3 in most cases, I would say, for 2. This guy's a 3-3 for 3, but he also has a little bit of healing. The issue is you have to go face to do that, and you have to draw them a card. So since she says 3 Magicka 3-3, whenever you draw the enemy a card, gain 3 health. Don't really like that very much. So I'm going to go Helgen Squad Leader here. I have like no greens, otherwise I'd go Nimble Ally. There's such a low chance to get his text to go off here that I'm not going to pick him. I'm going to go ahead and go Thieves Guild Recruit for even more cycle. I need some more late game threats, period. So I'm going to go Highland Lurcher. Like, it doesn't matter what they say to me. Whatever's the biggest late game threat, I'm going to pick it because I don't have any late game threats right now, and I want some to just beat the big dudes that come in and win me the game. Here, I don't really like Port very much at all, unless there's some kind of synergy like Deadly Daggers, or I think it's Daedric Daggers actually, something like that. Like, if I have those, then he's fine, but, and the Guardian RSO I don't like, so I'm going to go Crushing Blow, hands down. Here, I don't like any of these picks. If you have weapon synergy, then the Veteran's really strong, but I'm probably going to go Bruiser. Swapping lanes in this deck doesn't really do much for me. Like, I guess it has some synergy with the Uridan Paladin, but really just isn't a very great card in this draft. So Bruiser it is. Just, he gives me sort of a early win condition by letting minions. Here, once again, I'm just going to go Dwarven Spirit just because Shackle, sure, why not? Gain some tempo, maybe get a value trade in with them. Highly unlikely, he's not a very solid card, but he's good enough. Here, like I said, I already have enough card draw. If I get another one of these guys, it's just too much. I don't really have big enough threats to really rely on running a 2 damage remove, gain 2 health, removal spell, gain 2 health, which is basically what Giant Bat is. So I'm probably going to go another Bruiser just to have that threat, even though I don't like Bruiser. But because this draft is shaping this way, Bruiser is strongly better than these other 2. For that reason alone. But typically I don't like Bruiser at all. Like, once I saw how much card draw I have, I just was like, oh no, I don't want that much. I don't want 10 cards in hand at all times. Here, Hive Defender is an easy pick. And I'm pretty sure I pick it. Okay. Well, there was the draft, guys. You can see the curve. So this is definitely a big-time mid-range deck. I'm never really going to have a bad start and such. Thank you guys for watching. I will let you know this deck ended up getting 5 wins, which isn't amazing, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. That's typically my average. I'm not like some of these guys that average probably 7 wins a run. I'm sure they're out there. Like probably Justin does, I think. But I do think I give at least a good enough guide on Arena and give a good enough understanding, and I think I'm high enough rank in Arena to at least give videos like this, such and such. And so, yeah. Hope you guys learned something about this draft. I'll keep releasing draft videos and such. CVH has gotten back to me about the guide on the site. I'm going to go ahead and redo that guide. I'm going to try to make it look a lot nicer. I'm about to do a video for that guide where I go over one certain situation. I'm going to put that video link into the guide, stuff like that. So I'm going to really spice up the guide, and then whenever it's on his site, I will do a video to let you guys know about his site, where to go to find it, stuff like that, if you want to get try to help him out as well. So, and give CVH a big thanks. That was really nice of him and such. So, yeah. Hope you guys have a great night, great day, wherever you're from. As my great friend Shoma would say, and I love you all.